What is your response to people who say anybody who doesn't vote for Trump or Harris, and especially people who are running against Trump and Harris, are spoilers?
So first thing, I guess, to keep it simple and brief, whether you vote Team Blue or Team Red, militarized fascism wins. These are, two parties that are wholly owned subsidiaries of AIPAC and Raytheon and Lockheed Martin and Boeing, right? Something like 60% of the U.S. defense budget goes to 5 corporations. That is money that is taken out of the taxpayers' pockets and handed directly over to these corporations after being laundered through foreign imperialist genocidal wars. And the reality is that the Democrat Party, the blue team, Kamala Harris specifically, for her entire political career has really been to the right of Donald Trump. Let's be blunt about this. Trump was a Democrat for significant portions of his political life. Kamala Harris has been, I guess what they say, rhino, Republican in name only, right? Well, what do you call it when someone is a Republican without the name? What animal is that? Because that's what Kamala is. Republican in everything except the name. It doesn't roll off the tongue in the same way, but that's exactly what she is and has always been. This is essentially, a corporate party. And if anything, Team Blue is actually speeding us towards World War III more quickly than Team Red is, because there is an isolationist element to Team Red that is not present amongst the kind of, full-throated Hillary Clinton-style NATO imperialist warmongers that are running Team Blue. You are throwing your vote away if you vote for either Team Blue or Team Red in this current environment, right? One of the things that the Green Party stood for years is abolishing the Electoral College. But in this broken system that we have now, if you play by these political rules, there's only really like 4 states in the union where your vote matters at all. Otherwise, they're solidly blue and ugly red places.
And sometimes it's just a few districts in those states.
Right. So when people say, oh, you're throwing your vote away if you vote green, like literally it's exactly the opposite of that. And that just shows you, right, the media propaganda environment where you've got Fox News carrying water for Team Red, MSNBC carrying water for Team Blue, CNN carrying water for the 1% as a whole. And they convinced people that, oh, you have to do this. You have to vote for these 2 teams like it's a football game. You're either Team Blue or Team Red. So you can make a much more profound statement and a much more profound impact on the future of American politics by getting the Green Party, over the 5% threshold, which, by the way, we're already polling at 5% in a lot of places in the country, right? That will get us $10 million in federal funding to run the next election, that will ensure ballot access so that the Democrats can't be trying to sue to take us off the ballot like they've been, doing in so many states. So the reality is that you can actually create a viable third-party alternative by voting green. It's the only way that your vote is not, in point of fact, wasted. So let's just say that we don't land that Muhammad Ali knockout punch and get the presidency. And let's say we don't just fall to that 5%, minimum threshold, but let's just say we keep this momentum going and are polling at 7 and 10% across the nation. And then maybe some of the other third-party groups start to see that strength and start to engage in some horse trading. So maybe let's say that Cornel West Party and that the PSL, tell their folks, yes, listen, vote PSL all down the ballot, but at the top of the ticket, reinforce, the strength of green so that we can have a more robust third-party movement. Let's say now we're hitting something like 10, 12%. We now are the kingmakers because neither party will actually be able to achieve a majority under those circumstances. And before it gets sent to the House of Representatives, we can choose what to do with our delegate. So that makes the Green Party kingmakers, correct? It means that, listen, you guys are so worried about Trump, Team Blue. Tell you what, how about you guys start and make that phone call today and let us have that arms embargo? How about let's get 3 new Supreme Court, this is just me spitballing, right? How about 3 new Supreme Court justices today? And then we'll talk about what we want to do with our delegates. Yeah. Do you see how all of a sudden the environment in which American politics unfolds dramatically changes between now and November 6th? And by the way, that's why these people have been coming at us with AOC Pelosi and Kunta Keith Ellison and George Takei and all of the other, the plantation staff, the House Negroes that come and say, we sick, boss. Like, what do we have to do, to try to get these, people back on the plantation? That's why, because they know what I know. They listen, as soon as I got on the campaign, I looked at the polling numbers. I was like, wait a minute. They went from 65% of the Muslim vote in the swing states of Michigan, Georgia, and Pennsylvania in 2020 to 12% polling right now. They're dead. The Dems cannot win the election. And if I know that, they definitely know that. We have them, on the rope, and that's why they're coming at us with attacks. And they're going to try to say that a vote for us is a vote for Trump. But the reality is a vote for us is a vote for democracy. It's a vote for leverage in the system, and it's a vote against genocide.
It is not just about the election. It is about creating something larger. And often that has to do with ideas. And, you look at Medicare for all, that idea coming from the Green Party, and you look at abolishing student loan debt, that basically came from the Green Party. At the end of the day, if it's about an idea, what is it you'd like to see carry on after this election?
Okay, there's two ways of looking at this, right? And Dr. Jill, makes this case eloquently, and I agree with it, that you can win the issue without winning the race. Having said that, I really don't want to talk about winning issues until we're counted out of the race. I actually believe that is impolitic and a sign of weakness to run as though you're not going to win. I was raised in a Black Muslim tradition, of not just Malcolm X, but of Muhammad Ali. And Ali didn't get in the ring with Sonny Liston to play spoiler or to win the issue. He got in the ring to knock that sucker out, did he not? And if you just look at the way that the media environment has changed and the polling environment has changed just in the 3 weeks since I've been on the campaign, I feel like we've gone from a 1 in 10,000 long shot to a 1 in 1,000 long shot to maybe a 1 in 100 long shot. And if they ever let me on a debate stage with those vice presidential candidates, or if they ever let Dr. Jill on stage with a domestic terrorist on one hand and a war criminal on the other, then it's an even money race. Like all of the policies that you think that you like the Democrats for, but that they never actually deliver on, Green New Deal, Medicare for all those things, those are all Green Party initiatives. And frankly, I am sick and tired of them stealing our ideas, not delivering them to the American people, repackaging them like, no, let's have the people that are actually about it, institute those policies. And in order to do that, we have to grow power. Everybody that's on this, that's listening to this podcast right now, that's viewing this, they need to go, to Jill Stein's website, go to bit.ly/Steinware. 2024, you can donate, you can volunteer. We are building power. And we've literally got a network of hundreds of volunteers across the country that are throwing their lot in with this fight.
Thank you so much. Again, love the passion, and keep at it, keep fighting. And Dr. Professor Butch Ware, thanks again.
My pleasure. Y'all take care.